Hello people, welcome to Congratulations, You're a Twit. This is a series where I compile examples of people doing really thick and stupid things, and I explain to you exactly why they are stupid. So let's get started. Ladies and gentlemen, I have thoroughly plundered through my folders to bring you this, a replay from patch 9.14. Motocross Hero in the Russian medium heavy tank, the T10. Fun fact, I'd have loved to go back a few patches purely because then we'd have some novelty. This tank would have far lesser armor and it would have been called the IS-8. Anyone remember? I tell you, there's a neat quirk that gets subtly more pronounced the longer it goes unappreciated when you're a veteran of a game like World of Tanks, and that is, I'm taken to calling it old man syndrome. And it goes something like this. Back in my days, son, when they introduced the Tier 8 premium tank, it was balanced. Wow. Yeah. Granddad? What, boy? I bought a Defender with your credit card. I hope you left me his beach house. In any case, perhaps some introspection would be merited here, because I find it intriguing that, for whatever reason, replays bearing some resemblance to the archaic, or some long-lost character, or defining attribute tend to captivate my attention so much more these days. Now, I realise that may be due to all chat and the endless potential it inspired. Maybe it's the untarnished sound design by which these huge armoured behemoths sound as such, contrary to the current patch where they sound like various brands of lawnmowers. Far aside from that, it could be the impending removal of team damage in random games that titillates my discerning eye for replays of such a genre. Yet another avenue of morally tenuous pleasure is being walled off at the questionable whims of wargaming. Whatever the case, it's all the chat that pays its dues here, courtesy of the Panzer 58 Mutz on the enemy team, JoeVolk_. And he's platooned with another Mutz, a Frazetti, who interestingly enough is the person in the world in the single greatest need of an I'm with stupid t-shirt. Now, having played World of Tanks for as long as I have, I can't tell you the amount of times I've been accused of hacking, aimbot, plus myriad other senseless, profane accusations. Quite frankly, if even 1% of them are true, then I bedded more mothers than the cast of the Jeremy Kyle show. I take them mostly as compliments. Someone believes me so good that my actions could only be feasible through the use of unscrupulous means. Well, thanks very much. I'm not hacking, but thank you. Although, given the prominent lack of game knowledge they then go on to display, it ends up feeling kind of like being complimented on breathing by a dead fish. Alas, so it is that the Mutz pokes over the ridge and gets an unceremonious nose job on the house by Motocross, which, unsurprisingly, jump-starts the rage. He begins spouting off that the T10 is a hacker and insists he wasn't showing his cupola against all evidence to the contrary. This evidence being the fact that he got shot in the cupola and fecking died. He boldly states that he will send the replay to wargaming. This man speaks the truth. Later, after a nice snapshot into the other Mutz, he pipes up again, and I gotta admit, upon the appearance of the shockingly out-of-place comrade, I was 99% sure this guy was just taking a piss. But then he continues unabashed, citing a Hymo hack. That's not even a thing. Or is it? Because believe it or not, I did some investigation. With this 440 alpha damage gun, every one of the 11 shells that he fired that could go high, rolled high. Every one. He did not get a single low roll this entire game. So it came down to it, I had to ask, is this evidence for an actual genuine RNG hack? No. I'll tell you what, if the nuts like that, he's gonna love this. 50 kilometers an hour. Oh, a borsig. Dark Omnid! Hold up. Pull back. Pull back. Reported. Hit it. Thanks for contacting us. What action was in bad taste? You talk and discuss, we'll send copy and paste.
Since they hit aimbot, use a mod to proceed.
Okay, my give a shit level is already zero. Swift line says this report of mine. Redesign, please. I'm gonna need you to resign. Westbourne, German opposite Magnot line. Reports are good. Did you have to send fucking nine? It's like you live life with blood at partial pressure. Take your own advice, you should just angle better. Bitches act bitter. Listen, Joe Vog, I'm a ticket manager. I don't care what you suffer for. Thinking reports work, that's just plain nuts. This clockwork ain't changed, but I think you ain't much. Got all these snippets you produced and recorded. Abuse of tickets. Now guess who's reported? Question. Have you ever been in a room or privy to a conversation or event that is, by its very nature, so irrevocably rude or inappropriate or uncomfortable that you just... no one's saying anything. You're just silent. Your penis is hiding halfway up your ass. Just everything is uncomfortable. Right? Like when someone says, I'm not racist, but, and you're just like, bitch, just stop. Well, I have that when it comes to tactics. Because I play World of Tanks for a very long while. Compared to the vast majority of people, I'm downright prodigious at World of Tanks. And so, after a while, you get these little things, these nuances that are drilled into your psyche so much that you understand them almost by instinct, like a spider knowing how to spin a web when it's born. You just know these things, that they come that naturally. And so, that's what these next clips are going to be about. They're going to be about things that people have done that hurt me, because I look at them and they're just so wrong. Everything about them is just wrong. God, give me strength. Now this. And if you can't see what's wrong with this, then you should probably leave. I don't think I'm qualified to help you. Seriously though. I don't understand. It's like he heard. It's like he listened in on the other side of the door to a conversation about angling and thought, that sounds great, I'll try that. it should be acknowledged that any game in which a Type 4 Heavy can drive across the middle of Malinovka, block 134 hits and 28,540 damage must have some form of complete dipshittery going on. Although uniquely this is mainly due to the fact that Wargaming forgot to give any of the enemy tier 9 tanks 330mm of heat pen. What a feckin' oversight, eh? Now, here on El Haloof, myself and Ian in the even 90s are feeling understandably nervous about working down south due to the simple fact that our tanks are shit. And it does indeed transpire that despite my, best efforts to save him, Ian succumbs to the feminine, sultry temptations of the T-92's hamburger cannon. Burgers. After spending a contractually obligated 15 seconds in mourning, I continue alone, undertaking my business with pizzas. Undertaking my business with pizzazz, grace, and style. Pizzas. We at last come to a point where my misguided optimism confers begrudgingly with pessimism due to the scores being 6-11, and the GW Tiger P handing me his last will and testament. On a totally unrelated topic, if there is someone named Mr. GW Panther watching, please do contact me, because you're now the proud owner of 30,000 credits, a condom with a hole in it, and an ornate handcrafted plastic Asian man. Oh, and your dad's dead. My condolences. So, my immediate feelings were resignation to a rapidly approaching loss, as pretty soon it'll be just me and the Annex 105 who's been calling everyone idiots and bots for the entire game. So I set up to spot the tide of incoming devastation and to allow one last hurrah from our resident pigs. And we do get the T-57 Heavy down to a one-shot, and the 105 picks up the STRV. I use my camera rating to dart across the open and link up with my last remaining ally, and take up another spotting position. The 105 violently shuts down the Baltic and the IS-3, and suddenly, this game is looking viable. Although, a bit of information for you. French autoloaders are specialists. Right? They like isolated targets that they can ambush and unload on. The 105 has 390 alpha damage and 3 shells, giving it a clip potential of 1,170. I myself have 220 alpha with 3 shells, giving me a clip potential of 660. Now, combined, that's a lot of damage we can put out, considering that the T-57 is a one-shot, the Jagdpanzer is a two-shot, the Pershing a one-shot. This is entirely doable. We just have to find a secure position, protect the cap, and fight our way out. Now, given I've just spotted the most dangerous adversary left, the 50 TP, on clippable HP heading aggressively towards us, I want to get into a position to ambush him with the help of the 105, right, whilst he's isolated. Now, alas, while moving away, I get lit by the Pershing, so I run towards the south, not merely because of their arty, but because seeing me run so quickly will hopefully encourage the 50 TP to be more aggressive, leading him right into an ambush, isolating him further from his team. If all goes to plan, we'll charge round here, he gets one shot into the AMX, and we, using the hills for cover from the rest of his team, clip him out and reload. From the hills here, I have no doubt I could spot and interrupt the cap, and bonus, we still have the high ground advantage. The game from there, while not leisurely, we have many options for finishing it up. Now, can you guess what, in this situation, would be the most tactically ill-advised play to make? The single dumbest thing that you could do in this situation. Go on, have a guess in the comments. Because there's one thing one very simple thing that everyone learns without even knowing it. That everyone employs without understanding it. And in all these wildly unpredictable, varied circumstances we find ourselves in, one solid fact permeates them all. And anyone who dissuades themselves of such an ideal can name themselves downright perfidious. Never abandon high ground. It seems impossible that someone could achieve the statistics of this 105 without knowing this. High ground dictates. When you are on a position of high ground, you have power. You can choose when to proxy, when to engage, when to back out. Conversely, low ground can't control proxy, can't engage the opposition whenever it likes, can't back away. Furthermore, relocation is far easier and quicker from high ground to low ground than low ground to high ground, affording the higher ground a flexibility advantage. So, I ask you, 105, what did you think was going to happen when you threw away advantage? When you let the enemy team pin you down using the simplest positions? When you ensured that the only approach you had was up a long hill under the enemy with 2 RT in play? When you gave all the power to an enemy that outnumbered you 2 to 1? Is it any surprise that the 50 TP chased you down and killed you while you couldn't get away? Going from high ground to low ground, showcasing the flexibility I talked of earlier. And I'll tell you what, you've got some fecking nerve, princess. Jesus, W Pig, I don't... Is it too much to ask for some humility and self-awareness? The greater the signal of virtue, the lesser the virtue itself. I don't know if it would mortally injure your fragile ego to admit you're cocked up. Perhaps it would shake the foundations of arrogance too greatly to stop blaming everyone else around you. I don't know. What I do know is humility is a great thing. Take this next example. Here I am on highway in a fairly nice matchup, top tier in 510. Now, I begin the game highly aware that, for some reason best known to itself, the matchmaker seems to think that KV-13 equals an Oni, and an AT-15 equals a P-43. Okay, so imbalance is, believe it or not, somewhat helpful in tactics, because when there's a clear and obvious imbalance, the correct solution is often clearer, by way of it naturally being the antithesis of that imbalance. For instance, the enemy have a top tier heavy, we don't. I'm more mobile than him, we're unlikely to have a big town force, but we do have more TDs. Therefore, look at my nipples! I expect a short medium tank fight over here on the west, longer perhaps if the 43 comes over here. I expect to lose the town but hold the base, as our TDs should be able to hold back the Oni due to their numbers, counter-launching, and the fact that the enemy TDs would be disrupted by what will be at that time our base assault. Right? So that was the conclusion that led me to the conquest of the western flank. And as I thought, we pierced the enemy kind of like a knife, forcing them back to base. And, it's as I'm scoping out this shot on the FE304 Burger King going across the middle that I see a shell tracer from the enemy RT. Meaning that the SU-8 is just below the hill. And so I proceed to make one of the dumbest decisions that I could possibly make, and I do exactly what the 105 did. I abandoned high ground to go after a cheap kill. Now, in fairness, that wasn't my mindset during the game. I considered RT a bonus. My thoughts were, my team cleans up their base, I kill the RT, I spot anyone coming back, giving my team easier shots as they can and win. However, My team fails to win the base without heavy casualties, which is as much my fault as theirs. RT has relocated into a terrible position for me, and instead of trying to spot and gain awareness on the tanks that were pummeling my allies attacking their base, I spent about a minute trying to blind fire their RT, get flanked by a Hellcat, and then get my ass handed to me. Now, you could say, and believe me, I have said it already, if my team had made a more decisive attack, then my plan would have worked. If they had focused their fire or had better RNG, yeah, maybe, such may be true. The bottom line is, there would never have been a risk of us losing had I just attacked with them. If I wasn't so arrogant in my gameplay that I presumed to know future engagements uncharted, had I not taken for granted the supposed superiority of my wisdom, had I just played the regular play and not taken the risk, and not played like a complete cock.